I opened the garage door and it's just like this water rushed in.
24-inch pipe has a lot of water running through it.
And you can see where all that water went. Now on Denver 7 at Local 3, a water main break has left families in one Denver neighborhood trying to dry off. We're learning the cleanup could take weeks.
Also, two top-ranking U.S. officials promised more military support for Ukraine during a meeting in Kyiv.
This was, in our judgment, an important moment to be there, an important moment for Ukraine, for the war.
Barton for three, the dagger!
The Nuggets still in it. They slipped past the Warriors to force a Game 5 in the playoffs.
We're alive. You know, we live to fight another day.
Yeah, not out of the woods yet. It will be an uphill battle, but glad they got a win here at home. Thanks for joining us this morning. I'm Brian Sanders.
And I'm Nicole Brady. Meteorologist Lisa Hidalgo is tracking the day ahead in the weather. We started off with a few sprinkles today, Lisa. It is a bit cooler out there.
Yeah, I was hoping for more rain, though, this weekend. We saw very little. The mountains picked up a good amount of snow, and you can still see some of that snow hitting parts of southern Colorado right now. Things drying out west of Denver. You're still going to find a few patchy areas where we get some light snow today, but overall, here in town, skies are going to clear. We're in for a really pretty afternoon. 36 degrees in Denver right now, so it's a chilly start to our day. If your kids want to bike to school this morning, it'll be cold early on, but we should be in the upper 40s by about 11 o'clock. And by the time they're biking home, right around 55 to near 60, we'll hit highs right around 60 between 4 and 5. 40s for the mountains today and some upper 50s to low 60s on the plains. It gets so much warmer from here through the end of the week. We'll take a closer look at that on the Super 7 day. And when we're going to see, at least it looks like, Katie, 2 days of highs near 80.
All right, thanks, Lisa. And as she was mentioning, we picked up some snow over higher terrain, and it's tapered off this morning. But as we take a live look near Blackhawk, Central City, you will find some areas of slick roadways that haven't been treated. In and around Metro Denver, things are dry. But on 225, we do have an accident. It's right past Parker Road, and it's causing some major slowdowns, as you see live on 225 southbound. Taking to the map overall, it's stop-and-go traffic right now, at least back to Iliff, so do expect some delays. 225 heading into I-25, they're running just okay. And we did have a previous crash on US 85 there at Bridge Street. That is clearing up, so traffic is running smoother there on US 85 southbound. I-76 continues to be stop and go, pretty typical for this time of the morning. Similar story on I-25 heading into downtown. 270 about a 10-minute drive right now, I-25 to I-70.
This morning, homeowners are assessing the damage after this scene over the weekend. A water main broke, flooding the street and sending water rushing into people's homes. Crews have already started on the cleanup this morning. Yeah,
Denver 7's Christian Lopez joins us from the scene. This is at 45th and Perry Street in the Berkeley neighborhood. Obviously, it's got to be a mess out there, but what does the damage and the repairs look like this morning?
Well, right now, crews told us that they are still working to drain the water main, and they're also dumping some rock material into that hole that's in the ground. And here is a closer look at that hole. This photo was shared by Denver Water. And so they're dumping this material in there to prevent erosion and to also prepare it so for when they actually go in there and make those repairs. We're actually learning some new information about the pipe that caused the flooding in this area. In some area, the water was actually waist deep. And Denver Water told the Denver Post that it was 2 feet across and the pipe was installed in the 1920s, so age could possibly be a factor in the break. And crews are still waiting for this to be fully drained before they go in there to start repairing everything. And this video right here shows the moments that the water first started rushing down the street here in the Berkeley neighborhood. This happened around 7 o'clock Sunday morning, and utility crews were not able to stop that flow for nearly 4 hours. So that happened around 11 a.m. and by that time the damage was already done to several cars and houses. And this cell phone video shows just how fast that water went into someone's basement. The homeowner we talked to said he rushed in there to save his belongings.
I opened the garage door and it's just like this water rushed in. I knew something was wrong, and we just tried moving stuff up from the basement, just try to save what we could.
And Denver Water went door to door to help people get water pumped out of their homes. And the utility wants flood victims to work with their insurance and then file a claim with Denver Water directly.
Sometimes it ends up being a much bigger situation like we're seeing here today, but we're fully prepared to take care of it, get it fixed as quickly as possible, and work with this community and help them out with the inconvenience that they're dealing with here today.
Cleanup is just getting started. There's still a lot of work to be done, but Denver Water says it's going to continue working with these homeowners for several weeks to get all of this taken care of. Live in Denver this morning, I'm Christian Lopez, Denver 7.
Thanks, Christian. Well, we made it through the weekend without any devastating wildfires in Colorado, but this week you may see some helicopters flying around the Denver metro. It's part of training for Colorado firefighters to be ready after a pretty busy week last week. The Colorado Division of Fire Prevention and Control is teaming up with the Colorado Army National Guard. Crews will be flying over the metro, taking off from Vance Brand Municipal Airport and Buckley Space Force Base. Officials say the main goal of the exercise is to make sure crews have a realistic and comprehensive response when disaster strikes.
Denver wants to bring more life to its Main Street, 16th Street Mall. So construction just started earlier this month on major renovations, but the city wants to help the businesses that might be struggling because of the ongoing work. Denver 7's Veronica Acosta joins us live along the 16th Street Mall this morning with a look at the offer for these storefronts.
So the project's goal is to really revitalize this area, bring in some much needed people here as well. But in the process of making this area look even better, city officials want to make sure that some of these small businesses behind me aren't losing out on some revenue. And that's exactly where this program comes into place. The Downtown Denver Partnership and Denver's Office of Economic Development and Opportunity, they're working on getting this contract approved that would give $3 million to the businesses in this area. We're talking restaurants, retail, hospitality, and personal care businesses that are a part of the 16th Street Mall. They would all be eligible for this. Those that want the help, they would have to make under $5 million in revenue each year. The help would kick off with a $2,000 mitigation grant and then later a what's called later stage stabilization grant that could be up to $15,000 depending on how much revenue was lost during this construction process. Of course, as you can imagine, the help doesn't end there. For some businesses, the construction is going to mean having to move their patios, even their railings. The Downtown Denver Partnership says it'll coordinate the support and help those businesses with storage as well. City Council expected to discuss this a bit further during a meeting today, and of course, we'll keep you updated on that contract's progress. We're in Denver this morning. I'm Veronica Acosta, Denver 7.
This morning, the U.S. Secretary of State and Secretary of Defense are both in Ukraine. They met with President Zelensky and talked about new military aid coming for Ukraine's troops. As Faith Abube reports, the Defense Department says the next few weeks will mark a pivotal point in the war.
For the first time since Russia's recent attack on Ukraine began, Ukraine's President Zelensky face-to-face with Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin and Secretary of State Antony Blinken in the war zone. Austin and Blinken, now the highest-ranking U.S. officials to visit the war-torn country since Russia's bloody invasion began. A significant show of U.S. support.
The strategy that we've put in place, massive support for Ukraine, massive pressure against Russia.
Blinken informed Zelensky of a new round of U.S. aid, $713 million to the region. $322 million of that is military financing specifically for Ukraine to buy weapons it desperately needs on the front lines. Another $165 million to purchase Soviet-era ammunition not in U.S. supply.
The first step in winning is believing that you can win. And so they believe that we can win. We believe that they can win if they have the right equipment, the right support.
The latest announcement coming on the heels of the $800 million in military supplies President Biden announced just last week. All this as the Defense Department official says Russia's war is taking a pivotal turn. After military defeats in Kyiv, Russian forces now intensifying their attacks in the south and the east. Devastating video showing the aftermath of a Russian missile slamming into a residential building in Odessa, killing 8 people, including a baby.
And we're also learning starting this week, U.S. diplomats will begin traveling back to their offices in Ukraine. And after years of no U.S. ambassador to that country, President Biden will formally nominate a career diplomat. In Washington, Faith Abube, ABC News.
After seeing those images, we know a lot of people want to help, and U.S. citizens and groups can start applying to sponsor Ukrainian refugees starting today. That's under the Biden administration's Uniting for Ukraine program. Through the Department of Homeland Security, Ukrainians will be able to live and work in the U.S. for up to 2 years. Switching gears now to sports, the Nuggets staved off elimination in the NBA playoffs yesterday and fought hard to pull off the Game 4 win and avoid the sweep at Ball Arena.
The Nuggets had the lead in the third quarter. The Warriors tied it up, though, with less than 40 seconds left. Well, then Monte Morris hit this shot to give the Nuggets the lead. Will Barton then hit a three-pointer with just seconds left in the game. The Nuggets win 126-121 and force a Game 5.
I'm just so proud of our guys, man. The thing that was keeping me up at night, aside from my daughters going to a prom, was just I didn't want to get swept. I did not want to get swept. You know, there's something about getting swept that just eats at you at your core. So I'm thrilled that we're still alive. We're not satisfied, but we can regroup and head out to San Francisco and try to find a way.
Yeah, there's a chance. The series now heads back to San Francisco. Game 5 is Wednesday night at 8. Coming up, 2 astronauts with Colorado ties are days away from an historic trip to space.
Plus, it will cost you more now to get a home mortgage, but the rising rates don't appear to be slowing down the hot housing market.